All right, quick little video here, little study ball on some of the things I was talking about last week and how routes are run, the details of the routes, how it affects a quarterback, okay, and the little things. And the first one that I mentioned was chipping a guy that is essential in a particular route, okay? So right here, we're going to have the Vikings run a play that I call pig, okay? So it's basically double digs in this situation. So we're going to run an inside dig here, and then we're going to run a big dig on the outside. Okay, so it's double digs. All right, we're going to see another video of a route on this where this first inside in route goes over the top. But let's talk about that first. Essential for me that number two guy, okay, so one is the furthest guy outside, and this is number two, that the number two guy releases inside. Seam releases inside. Okay, Kurt, why are we seam releasing inside? Okay, it's going to do two things. Okay, first, we understand this guy's responsibility in this situation is going to be out to the flat. So I don't want to allow him to play his responsibility and mess up the timing of this route. So I want to seam inside because I'm assuming he's going to let me get a free release. And I'm really seaming inside for this next guy. I want to seam inside and I want to try to hold this guy to the inside. That guy doesn't want me to cross his face. His responsibility is inside. So I want to seam release and I want to squeeze him in tighter to where the ball's at. Okay, why do I want to squeeze him tighter? I want to squeeze him tighter because I'm trying to open up this particular throw. On this particular play, that's the primary guy. Okay, there's certain things that can take us to the other guys, but that's the guy I'm trying to throw to. So every other route for me should be designed to get that guy open. How do we get that guy open? Now, if the defense does something to take that away, we should be able to run our complementary routes in a way that gets somebody open, but we're trying to get that guy open. So I'm trying to squeeze the inside defender and get him to go inside. And then what you're going to see, I'm going to erase this here, okay? So I'm steaming in here because I'm trying to squeeze this guy inside. I'm trying to get him to hold inside of me. So by attacking inside, I'm hoping he's going to jump inside or he's going to come up and try to jam me, but he's going to squeeze me inside. And then ultimately what's going to happen is underneath this, we're going to run a hook route right here with the tight end. Okay, so number two is seaming inside to squeeze the inside guy. Number three, so again, 1, 2, 3, is getting width and running a hook with the hopes of widening this guy. Okay, so we're trying to create a window between those two defenders for this outside in to get open. That's why these essentials of why we're running things the way that we are so important. If I go outside here, this guy gets to jam me and he gets to go play his responsibility and get his width right there. And what he does is he condenses these two in routes, okay? Doesn't influence this guy. So he's got the ability to carry through to those two receivers, but we squeeze the spacing there and the timing there, so everything gets jumbled up. We take all these defensive guys to the party and we make it hard on ourselves. So what we're trying to do is get inside here. Okay, if this guy still wants to push through, then we're opening up this guy for a chance to shoot it in there. Okay, if we want to get width with this guy and this guy wants to stay tucked in and tight to take away the in, now we've opened up this guy. So all the things that we're doing has the ability to open up each of these guys if the defense does something particular, but the whole goal, what are we trying to throw? We're trying to throw the big in. So let's get it open. Let me take the inside guy inside. Let me take the outside guy outside. Let me open up the window. Okay, so it's the details. This was the one where I talked about is chipping. I have no problem with chipping as long as the chipper doesn't have a responsibility to the concept. Isn't needed quickly in the concept. But what I showed you is we're running an in and we're running a hook underneath it. So we're trying to ultimately get this high-low right here with these two guys. So I need that underneath guy there. If he doesn't get there in time, then this guy's just going to fall back and get depth because he's got nobody threatening his responsibility. Okay? Let's watch. We're going to chip the tight end. Chip, chip. Okay, the quarterback has timing to this big end. So he wants to read this defender and go, does this defender get deep or does this defender come underneath? We're not giving him a chance. We are not giving him a chance to read this and throw this on time and find the window because tight end hasn't even gone out yet. So what does a good defender do? Well, a good defender drops and takes away this responsibility because he's not threatened out here by anything. Oh, here comes the tight end just starting to get out, but JJ's got to throw the football. It's time to throw it. The in is coming in there, and we have not created the spacing that we wanted. We haven't created a read for JJ. So he's going to try to throw this in here because this guy's not even in the route, so he doesn't even feel that guy there. So now he's stuck trying to drive this in throw here in between all these bodies because we have created no spacing. What do you think is going to happen? Oh, we miss, right? It's a mess. He's trying to throw this. The window is tiny. He's late on the window because if he's throwing this, he's got to be throwing this way before that because the in's starting to come in here. But we've done nothing to help him. This guy's just getting out. Can't chip him. You can't chip him on this particular concept. If you're going to use him to be the underneath portion of this route, he's got to get there. I need you to get out. You don't have time to chip, or I'm just saying, quarterback, make it work. We're not helping you at all. Make it work. And if it's too tight, then check it down way late. But that's not, again, to me, that's not the goal of this play. The goal of this play is to get a high-low and get the quarterback a read as quickly as possible so he can throw this throw on time and make a play. They don't do that here. They chip the tight end, chip, late, just getting out, and JJ's got to make a decision before that guy has any influence on that backer at all, which it leads to, of course, a miss, a jam, trying to throw it in there, trying to make the perfect throw without getting a read on this particular play. And yes, we can always say, well, if it's that tight, then just check it down. Yeah, we can say that, but what are we doing on the play? Why are we chipping that guy when we need him to influence these linebackers so I can make a throw down the field? Okay, so we're going to come back and we're going to actually run basically this route again. Okay, so same type of route. Okay, so we're going to have an in route, and then instead of the hook, they're going to run a swing. I don't like the swing on there because I'll talk about that in a minute. Let's talk about the ins because we just talked about it. What you're going to see is now this guy goes outside. He goes outside on this play, and this is why I told you I don't like him to go outside. He's going to go outside. What's that defender do? It's easy. My responsibility is to the flat. I don't have to worry about anything. I'm not threatened to the flat. I can play my responsibility and jam the receiver and slow him down and widen him, make everything easier on the defense by doing this. So now, look at this. Look at where our two ends are. Our two ends are right on top of each other. The defenders have pushed through, right? This defender has pushed through with depth because he's not been threatened inside at all. He pushes through to depth and makes everything tight and condensed. I never want these two guys to be this tight together, okay? So I just want you to, I'm going to rewind it here, and I just want you to visualize if this guy does this, okay? What does it do to this guy? What does it do to this guy? Because this guy's checking to the swing, and this guy's running the end. So first of all, we know it's going to create more space here. Bigger chance for a bubble in a window to throw it. Second thing is if I come inside, you have to believe this guy's not going to just keep getting depth. He's worried about the guy coming into his responsibility. So he's probably going to stay more inside to create the window. Okay? If I can come inside and this outside defender wants to jam me inside, then what? He loses his responsibility out there for the swing, and now we've got to throw to the outside with no defender out there on that particular play. But if I release inside and that guy doesn't squeeze me, he's going to possibly feel this flat, widen because he's not being threatened. He's not touching anybody. He's not worried about any bodies now. The only guy underneath him is this swing. And once again, the idea to open up the in route here. Okay, now they're able to get this. Okay, but you look at all the time. Sorry, let me rewind that without the mess on there. They're able to get the in throw. But look, Jackson Dart wants to throw this football right here. Okay, he gets to the top of his drop. He wants to one hitch this and throw the football. He can't because it's all a mess here. We've played to this guy. This guy's got depth. Our in route is the guy he ends up hitting, but that guy's way out by the numbers. And so there is no chance for him to make this throw right now because there's so many bodies and condensed. Now, he finds it late. Okay, so yeah, it works out in their favor because this guy continues to push through, and then this guy wraps over the top, and they end up getting it. But look at how long this takes, and look at how jumbled up this is for the quarterback, where he's got to just find a throw back behind guys instead of utilizing this in our favor. Get this guy to condense, get this guy to widen, and open up this window here. If this guy doesn't want to condense, then we would be throwing the in here. If this guy doesn't want to get width and wants to go here, we'll be throwing the swing here. But all have to work together for the purpose of trying to get this guy open. And then if that guy's not open, because of the way we run everything else, somebody else should be open. That's the goal. Here, it's not the case. We're getting everybody condensed, so now we can let one guy possibly cover two, or we let both of these guys play their responsibility, and as this guy runs the swing, this outside guy is getting width anyways, so we don't get outside of him to win on the swing route either. So everything needs to play together. Otherwise, we're making life hard on the quarterback. Quarterback's having to figure it out right here. Jackson Dart climbing the pocket. What am I going to do? There's bodies everywhere. This guy's taking forever to get out here and influence the underneath guy, but he makes a play, so we go back and everybody's happy, but the details make the difference. Get in here. Get in here and influence this guy. Let this be easy. Then, once I influence the inside guy, then it is a true high-low with this guy. What's he want to do? Easy read for the quarterback. I keep it to one guy. I don't have to worry about anybody else. The more simplified I can keep the read for the quarterback, the better off we're going to be, and the better the advantage for us instead of having to figure it out. Okay, not the same play, but similar ideas in terms of why and how we're doing everything. Okay, so this is a play that I call poppin'. Okay, and so what we're going to get is we're going to get an in route here, we're going to get a pop route here, and then we're going to get a flat here. All right, so the idea again, first thing we want to know is who are we trying to get open on the play? Well, for me, we're trying to get this pop open right here. So it's a similar idea to what we're talking about, and you'll see that in a second. So what do I want? I want this guy to seam inside and then run his in route. Why do I want him to seam inside? Because I want him to hold this defender inside. Then I'm going to have a flat go out here. Okay, I got the flat going out there because now we're trying to influence the outside guy. So I want him to run and cover the flat, and I want the next linebacker, again, this guy in here, I want him to come and squeeze inside, which does what? If we get both of those things, we open up this guy right here. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get one to get width, one to get tucked inside, right? We're trying to split those two guys and force them to go to the extremes. One stay inside, one run outside, and it opens up the guy in between them, all right? So as we play this out, you'll see, okay, really like what the tight end does. I think it's tight end here, but I really like what this guy does. He comes inside here and goes up the field. So what's he do? He freezes this guy right now. As we go to the flat, what's it do? It carries this guy right now. So everything really is in good shape with those two guys. I love the way they're running the routes here, okay? My biggest thing is the guy that runs the hook on this particular play. Okay? And not terrible, but you see what we get. Hold him inside, pull him outside, and we've got the throw in between. Same thing we wanted on the dig play, right? We wanted to seam inside, hold the inside guy inside. We wanted to get width with the outside guy, hold the outside guy outside, and then find that window in the middle, okay? And here it is. There's the window right here. But little things make a huge difference. What would you do different, Kurt? What I would do different is, this is great. Hold this guy in here. But my biggest concern on this play is we go to the flat. This guy runs and takes the flat. What I'm worried about is this next guy coming to take away the hook route right here. I'm worried about him, and that's why I seam inside to hold him there. But the other thing that can help is to get more width with my hook guy, okay? Instead of coming right off of this and staying tight where this guy's got less ground to cover, let's try to isolate one defender. Seam inside, hold this defender inside, okay? Now, I'm going to run with width out here further and the flat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to isolate this outside defender. What's he want to do? He wants to run and cover the flat. What I've done is I've created more width from the next linebacker so I can win right here. And that to me is the goal, is to create the best spacing we can. So what I'm trying to do is I'm going to put a line where the ball is. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get three guys on this side of the ball with the best spacing and as equal spacing between all three of them as I can get. I want to force the defense to cover as much of the field as possible. So get this guy to hold in here. Now the outside guy can't be right, okay? Can't be right once we hold that guy there. But I want to make sure that I'm giving my quarterback enough room that if this guy slips through, if he hesitates at all, he can't get there. We get him to hesitate here, and you see how he's coming off, and he's getting ready to play this hook route. Now, he's not going to get there. We're going to complete that, and it's going to be kind of a bang-bang play. But why not just get more width? Come out here. We've still got plenty of space here to be able to work the outside linebacker with these two players, okay? And so it comes down to creating as much space as you can on one side of the field. It's about forcing the defense to cover as much ground as they possibly can. So it's this guy covering ground and this guy covering ground. How do I force both of them to cover the maximum amount of ground if they want to cover it? So if I run flat and this guy goes flat and I get more width here on this hook, now this guy has to make a more definitive move to cover it. So let's just say on this play, this happens, guy covers the flat. Now this guy's responsible for both the hook and the end. And he goes running way out here. He's got to go way out there now to cover the hook. Now it makes the read quicker and faster for the quarterback because he's got to cover more ground. If he's going to cover the hook, he's got to go right now, which lets the quarterback know, oh, boom, once he goes there, now I can get back to this in route quicker on this particular play. Or if I read the hook defender and he holds inside it all and I'm running here with width, I already know he can't cover it. I know he cannot get there. If he hesitates at all, he cannot get there. And that becomes the goal, is we want to create the right kind of spacing to help this guy back here make his job as easy as possible. Give him the quickest read. Create the biggest separation between all of these guys so it's hard for the defense to cover that much ground. The tighter we make it, okay, the tighter these two guys are together, the easier we make it for this inside guy to jam the tight end going down the field and then come off and get the hook. The wider we make this, the harder it is for him to cover all of that ground and take away both the in and the hook. So spacing connected with the timing becomes so important. Whether it's the dig, seam inside, hold this guy inside. Whether it's a hook here or the flat, okay? Get this guy to get some width so we can find that hole in between it on the double dig or on this pop-in route. Same ideas apply. It's about creating spacing. Spacing everywhere, putting as much pressure on the defense and making it as easy as possible on the guy playing quarterback.